And we have built our society, our economy, and our health for centuries. Without the sea, Roses would surely not exist. Sea is life. For all these reasons, Roses is firmly committed to protecting our sea, the Mediterranean Sea. This sea that we share with dozens of countries and hundreds of communities. The Mediterranean is our common heritage, and we must work together to protect it and allow future generations to enjoy its benefits in a sustainable way. On the other hand, climate change is also a threat of which we are starting to live its consequences. Temperature change, sea levels rising, and the disappearance of ecosystems will affect us all, from Istanbul to Cap de Creus. That is why we must work together to adapt to its short-term effects and prevent its long-term worsening. Protecting the sea and fighting climate change is urgent and a moral obligation of all citizens and administrations. That's why we celebrate such a project today, putting our city and its resources at your disposal. We encourage you to continue with your commitment. We guarantee that Roses is going to be by your side all the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Now it's the turn for Montse Mindan. I don't know the name in English. Primera tinent d'alcalde and presidenta junta.
As deputy mayor.
Deputy mayor of Roses, and is the president of the committee, I would say, of in charge of helping in the management of the Cap de Creus Natural Park. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Roses. Soyez la bienvenue to Roses, tout le monde qui parle aussi français. My name is Montse Mindan, and I am speaking to you as the president of the Junta Rectora of the Natural Park of Cap de Creus. This management authority is formed by 8 towns and other administrations. The 8 towns are Cadaqués, Llançà, Port de la Selva, Selva de Mar, Vilajuïga, Palau-saverdera, Pau, and Roses. I would like to thank everyone all the hard work you have done the last years to look out for the protection of our marine environment. Our sea, and the mayor has just said that, it's very important, either as a social level, economic, or touristic. In fact, captaining the park in conjunction with all the towns and other tourism companies, we are trying to achieve the European Charter for Sustainable Tourism. Only by achieving excellency in sustainability, we can offer the best quality tourism destination. I hope that you really enjoy Roses and mainly our natural park. Thank you all very much. Just one thing, if there is anyone that wants to connect the Wi-Fi, you have to look for Teatra 1, and you have to write Teatra with capital letter, the first one, and 2013. Then you will achieve it. Thank you.
And now is the turn for the director of Cap de Creus Natural Park, Pons Feliu.
Hello, good morning. We are happy to welcome you to Cap de Creus Natural Park. Sorry. So I'll just add some words at the ones that Joan, the mayor, and also Montse, the president of the Cap de Creus Protection Committee. Some words about the park. Our natural park is 14,000 hectares. Most of them are terrestrial, 11,000. But we have 3,000 hectares, which are marine areas, a protected area. From them, the 3,000, we have a small part of it, which is called Reserva Natural Integral, which is a strict protection. This is in north part of Cap de Creus Peninsula. Actually, this afternoon, we'll be able to travel with the boat. We'll be able to see both Cadaqués area and the southern part of Cap de Creus Natural Park. We'll be able also to snorkel, some of you, at Cap Norfeu, which is one of the parts of the park which is protected with another protection level, which is called RNP, Reserva Natural Parcial. It's not as a strict protection, but it's still a good protection area for Cap de Creus. In Natural Park, we have also in the terrestrial area, we have several endemic plants, endemic species. Some of them are endemic from Cap de Creus, so you can only see them in all the world, both plants and also animals. We have different habitats, both in marine areas and terrestrial. We have some ranges or peaks that reach almost 700 meters high, so and they are not far from the sea, so our diversity in the Natural Park is I think, is very rich. So we are now working in what we call the PRUC, is a management plan to regulate all kinds of activities we are doing at the same time in this natural area. As they said, as the president said, Montse, we are in a very important touristic area, so we have to manage all these activities that take place at the same area, which is Cap de Creus. We have a lot of nautical activities, both recreational and also fishing, professional fishing in this area. We have scuba diving, snorkeling. We have all kinds of activities in this area, so we have to do this plan, and I think it's an ambitious plan, and if we are able to achieve it, I think will be a good area to manage all this area, and we have the privilege of managing it. Just to let you know that I think this project will also help us very much in knowing more deeply all we have in our hands, all we can do to prevent this climate change to be a big problem for the loss of diversity, for the increment of the increase of the sea level, and I hope we'll be able to work together to make this area also a good place for all these animals, plants, and all these habitats, and also for people who live in this area. So we welcome you to this natural park, and I hope you will enjoy this morning working here in the theater, and in the afternoon visiting the park. So thank you very much for being here.
So thank you for your welcome speeches, and now we will start the sessions. Remember, you can check your program with scanning the QR code here, and I just wrap up how we are going to organize the sessions today. Now we have two presentations on the projects that we joined forces to do this joint final event to show you the projects and the main outcomes of those projects. Especially, we wanted to come here to Rosas because Cap de Creus, as you know, has been one of the pilot sites of the MPA-Engage project, and they are here now among you, among the public, among the participants that have been involved in some of the activities that we implemented during the MPA-Engage project, and we thought that it was a good opportunity to share what is the experience and what are the results that come from this, the efforts that they put in contributing with their knowledge and their time and their expertise in the implementation of the pilot actions. And for them, I think, for the people that has been involved in these pilot actions, see this global perspective or more general perspective of the projects, we thought that it was a good opportunity to give them a return on about the inputs that they provided during the projects. I think that during these last days, we have been discussing or showing and making a lot of presentations, and this issue about sharing, this issue about looking for collaboration, cooperation at different levels, it was an issue that has been recurrently mentioned during our discussions, and I think that it's a good opportunity to make this final day of our Met Together tour here in Rosas, sharing our experience with the local actors on MPA. So just to let you know that here we have people from partners from both projects, MPA-Engage and MPA Networks, and we have people from different Mediterranean countries. Yesterday we were kind of making the round during the dinner, so we have people from Libya, from Morocco, from Italy, from France, from Lebanon, from Croatia, from Montenegro, from Slovenia, and probably I'm missing some. So, but just to see what are the dimensions of the project. So I'm going to ask now Carol Martinez, who was the coordinator of the MPA Networks project, to provide the insights of MPA Networks. Thank you. Il faut que tu passes par là.
Good morning. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. We are delighted to be here in this very nice city of Roses, and we look forward to discover the park. So as Kim nicely indicated, we have teamed up to make this final event in order to highlight the synergies between our different activities. And as you will see further, we have actually partners in common. Unfortunately, this region in Roses was not a pilot site of MPA networks. Our pilot site was in Palma de Mallorca. But nevertheless, you will see that we have been developing activities and tools that could be as well relevant for this region. So our project gathered 10 partners and 21 associated partners in 7 countries, as you can see on this map. And the whole idea of this project was definitely to address the different challenges that marine protected area managers are facing on a daily basis. And the main idea was definitely to equip them, to support them, and in order to help them to improve the status of the marine biodiversity and to enhance the management of these marine protected areas. So as you can see on this nice drawing, our activities has been mainly organized through 3 main pillars. We have been implementing pilot activities. We have been providing as well capacity building through different trainings opportunity, and we organize a workshop, both online and face-to-face, in order to adapt ourselves to the COVID and pandemic situation. But nevertheless, we have been able to meet, to bring together the MPA's managers, but as well the stakeholders, in order to discuss about their daily issues and to find solutions. And on the basis of all the lessons learned, all the feedback, we have been able to capture the main needs, the main recommendation for decision maker. So in a nutshell, again, we had pilot sites, we enhanced capacities, but I forgot to mention that another important area of work was, again, to foster the networks between MPA managers, both at the national level, but as well at the sub-regional level, as you will see. So to give you an overview of what we have been able to achieve with our partners, and thanks to their strong dedication, we have been able to implement 8 pilot actions in 7 countries, and this represents a cumulated area of 26,800 hectares, so it's quite important. We have been able to mobilize our thematic working groups of MedPan to keep on channeling expertise and support to the MPA managers and the stakeholders. We organize, as I mentioned, regular trainings on fisheries, on mobile species management, but as well on financing in order to support the MPA managers to find ways to sustain their incomes and to support their effective management. We organized a very important event last December with the 2023 Med MPA Forum, and it has been a great opportunity to bring all the marine conservation community in Monaco in order to further exchange and brainstorm about the key challenges. An important outcome has been the presentation and the discussion about the post-2020 MPA roadmap, which is a very important framework to implement further action in the regions. And as I was indicated, we have been supporting networking. So this represents, I would say, work with more than 35 marine protected areas. We have been able to support the Spanish network, RAMPE, enabling through our partners, Maries, the organization of meetings in order to further brainstorm about their action plan. we have been able, thanks to our partner, the Brioni National Park, to create the Croatian Marine Protected Area Network. And this network is bringing together 15 organizations in Croatia. We have been supporting exchange between French and Italian marine protected areas managers in the framework of the Pelagos Sanctuary. And as I was mentioning, we work as well at the sub-regional level in the Adriatic. And the whole point was to move from the existing network, AdriaPan, to an AdrianPan, bringing as well together MPAs from the Adriatic region with more MPA managers from the E-Union regions. And as I said, we have been elaborating on policy recommendations that we actually discussed both during our technical workshop in Palma 2 days ago and yesterday in Barcelona during our policy meeting. So you can see where our different pilot action happen, and you will hear more from our common partners, both Brioni National Park and the Portofino MPA. So this shows as well how we can actually, on common pilot site, bring together our different initiatives and further support in synergy the marine protected area managers. And here you can see better the effort of networking, both at the national and the sub-regional level. So maybe a little bit more detail about our events, why it was very important to join our forces and to team up. And definitely we wanted to bring together our respective partners, but as well common partners, to share views, to share insight in order to see how the different, I would say, topic we addressed within our respective project could actually bring together a strong recommendation for further action, but as well bold political decision. So we had this technical workshop, we had this policy event, and here we are in Roses to share as well what we did and to further support your activities on a daily basis. So I will conclude with this nice drawing. As you can see, our meetings, but as well our past months and years have been quite active, despite difficult situation with the pandemic. But I would like to praise here the strong commitment of our partners, and I believe it has been the same here for the MPA-Engage project. So thank you again very much. Be sure that we will stand by your side, and we will definitely use all the knowledge, all the key recommendations that came from these two projects to further advance progresses for marine conservation in this region. Thank you very much.
So now is the turn of explaining MPA-Engage outcomes and results and why we propose to work on MPA-Engage. So I'm Joaquín Garrabó, and as I said before, I work as a scientist at the Instituto de Ciencias del Mar, which is one of the largest research centers from the Spanish Research Council. So just to set the scene again about the climate change, and now we are suffering really hot weather in June, which is not normal. And it's just that we are living in these emergency times regarding the climate, and especially in the Mediterranean, and especially in the water, as it shows in this map, is the warming rates across the Mediterranean. And as you see, the warming is not homogeneous through the entire basin, but it's clear, and if we make the averages, it's around 0.4 degrees per decade, and this warming rate is between 3 and 5 larger, so greater than the ocean warming rate. So we are really in a hot spot for climate change, and this is translated by the warming rates, but as well by the coverage of the marine heat waves in the Mediterranean. And in this graph, what you see here is the evolution through time of the coverage of the marine heat waves. So what is the percentage of the Mediterranean that has been affected by marine heat waves? And as you see, in the last years, we have been suffering almost 100% of the Mediterranean has been affected by marine heat waves. So we have a need to tackle, I mean, if we want to work on marine protection and designing marine protected areas, we have to take into account the climate change issues. This is clear, otherwise it's going to be, we can have not the desired results. So you know that we are in this framework now at different levels, at the European level, at the Mediterranean level, and at the international level. This commitment by the different countries to protect 30% of the ocean by 2030. And this is something that has been agreed in the different conventions. And there are different scales, as it's shown here, global, Mediterranean, and European. But it's clear that at the European regions, they have as well a play to role. And at the end of this process, there is the local MPAs that they are going to face how they are going to manage these areas, this protection and the enlargement of some of those protected areas. So there is a challenge, and now we have this challenge on how we are going to do this. And since I was mentioning that the climate change is an issue, and since it's not so many work done in this sense, the MPA-Engage project, the main aim of MPA-Engage project was to support Mediterranean MPAs to be effective ocean-based solutions to face climate change. So this is what was our purpose. So how we did it, or how we intended to do it, or how we want to contribute to this main goal. So we implemented 5 main actions, or activities. And all of them in the center, it has been always the participatory approaches, so making that the actors that they are in having activities in the marine protected areas, they have a word to say and they contribute to this. So we have been implementing monitoring activities, so what is going on with the ecosystems, what are the effects of the climate change in the ecosystems. We implemented citizen science activities to contribute to this monitoring and as well to raise awareness about the climate change and other environmental issues. We assess the vulnerability at local scales of the MPAs to climate change. So it has been a lot of work here to understand at the local scale what are the potential effects of the climate change. And finally, in the bottom of the slide, you see that we developed a climate change adaptation plan, so a list of measures, a list of actions that it can be implemented at the local scale to adapt, because the management plans of the MPAs can be adapted to the context of the climate change. So, as I say, we use these participatory approaches, and we use what we call the helix, the quintuple helix participatory approach. So this means, this fancy name, what it means is that categories or groups of actors we are taking into account. So of course the MPA managers, the scientists, but as well the citizens, the society, the public, the general public, the local authorities, and some of the socioeconomic actors, mainly the fishermen and the recreational diving activities. So who has been implementing this? It's just we have been working for the last 32 months, and as I say, we are 15 partners working on this, and we had a budget around 3 million euros. And the partners, we try to combine all these quintuple helix participants, so we have research institutions, national administration, regional administrations, NGOs, and marine protected areas management bodies included. So we worked as MPA networks in some pilot actions and pilot areas. So we have 7 pilot areas that you have a map here, the different dots position the different MPAs that participated. And you can see, and this is a map of the sea surface temperature, that the MPAs are located in a different environmental context and as well in a different socioeconomic context. So this gives us the opportunity to learn how the tools that we are developing can be applied and transfer, because this is our ultimate goal, to transfer all the tools that we have been developing to the entire network of MPAs, so of the Mediterranean. And to do this, we have, besides of the partners that have been really heavily involved in the implementation of the actions and the development of the tools, we had 3 what we call capitalization partners, around capitalization boards, I would say, and we have 30 partners that have been included in these capitalization boards. We had other MPAs that they were willing to use or implement some of the tools that we have been developing. Research institutions that want to contribute to develop the tools and to provide inputs on this or validate the tools that we are working. And then a group of networks or different organizations that act at more at the Mediterranean level that can take or help us or support us in the spreading or in the transferring of these tools. So maybe it's going to be long, but I wanted, yesterday when I was trying to finish the presentation, I already knew that we did an extraordinary job and an excellent job, and I wanted to provide some examples, but at the end I had to cut, so I just choose some of the main outcomes and not for all activities that we have implemented, but it's just to give you the flavor of the kind of products or the kind of issues that we have been dealing. So the first one is about the vulnerability assessment. So this, as I was saying, we work in the assessment of the socio-ecological vulnerability of the MPAs. So we wanted to know how the climate change is affecting the ecosystems, the habitats, the different species, and how this is affecting the ecosystem services that they are providing and the activities that depend on these ecosystems. So we were trying to understand the vulnerability as the exposure to this hazard, or to this climate change impacts, the sensitivities, because at the same temperature, different species can react in a different way, so the sensitivity, and then we evaluated as well what is the adaptive capacity of the different components, either in the ecological and in the socioeconomic activities. It's, I cannot go into the details, but it's just to give you an idea that we get these kind of really nice figures that you, some of them, you can check it out in some of the roll-ups that are in the hall about the results on the particular the study that has been done here by the Generalitat of Catalonia for the Cap de Creus area. And we developed a tool which is now online, and this tool, you can check it and navigate through this to see what are the results obtained in the different pilot MPAs that participated in the project. And you get this kind of nice outputs about the sensibility of the different species that have been chosen in the different MPAs and other parameters that I'm not going to go into detail now. But it's just to let you know that through this tool, there are all the materials that for other MPAs that are willing to implement this in their own MPA, they can use it and it's freely used and all the materials are there. Another output, but I'm not going. I'm going to move to the monitoring tools because we have been heavily involved as well in developing these monitoring tools that are coming not from the experience of this project. We have been working quite for a very long time on this with the partners that are participated in the project, like the Estación Zoológica of Naples by Ernesto Azzurro and Carlos Serrano from University of Politécnica de la Marche. And we put here our wisdom, I would say, to provide really cost-effective monitoring protocols to be able to tackle or to understand what are the effects of the climate change. And we have these main categories in your right hand, which is about what are the changes in the physical chemical conditions, so in this case temperature, what are the changes in the species distribution, which is one of the things that our climate change is pushing. The episodic events, like the mass mortalities that are affecting more and more the ecosystems, and how the climate change is affecting as well the changes in the reproduction cycles, for instance, the technological change. So you have here this, we make this booklet that is with all the description of the monitoring protocols, and this is freely available to anyone that wants to have a look. And as we will see later, we have as well many other tools to help and support the implementation, the right implementation of this. So the idea of this, implementing these monitoring protocols, is to have the information at the local, at the sub-regional, at regional level, because they are providing the same, getting information in an harmonized way, and we are able to provide this information on the climate change impacts or effects at the different levels. And this is really important because we need to build these baselines to understand what are the magnitude of the changes that we are observing, and to be able to speak to each other across the Mediterranean to know, what is happening here, what is happening there, and what are the solutions that have been implemented in different areas. And as I was saying, we have developed not only the text where we have the description, there are really nice video tutorials on the different steps that you have to use. We have the TEMENet platform is hosting some of the protocols in the way that the people can provide or upload the data, and we provide some kind of results or analysis of this and supporting. Because what we want to do at the end, so is not only support the monitoring activities in the field, so knowing how to do it, we provided as well a tool, a specific tool to understand what the data is telling us. So we are providing, supporting in the analysis of this data. But not only the analysis, we were kind of working really hard to support the managers in the terms that, okay, these are the results of the implementation of the monitoring protocols, but what is telling me for the implementation of regulations, for instance. So we are providing the assessment. So according to the values of the information that we are getting, we could say if this habitat or this species is in good or in bad condition, and according to this, the managers can then decide what to do with this. So we are really proud of this tool. And just some figures about the magnitude of the results that we have been getting, not only for MPA-Engage project, of course, because this has been a long-term effort, but for instance, we have more than 3,000 transects in 7 countries of fish visual sensors to determine changes in fish species distribution, species that are indicator of climate change. 20 million of hourly data points have been collected so far, which represents more than 2,000 years of hourly records on time if we put them together, and more than 500 fishermen interviewed during these years. And if we go further, I think that these numbers will be increasing quite fast. And this, I'm reaching the end of my presentation, and this is just to give, these are the 10 non-regret adaptation measures that has been kind of compiled from the different MPAs that we have this, what we call adaptation action plan, joint plan, and it's as well in the web page, so you can download it. But as I say at the beginning, the main goal of MPA-Engage was to provide these adaptation action plans that include, of course, the adoption, for instance, of the monitoring approaches that we propose. So it has been a long journey, and yesterday when I was thinking, say, okay, we did the first meeting in Barcelona in January 2020, and it was, as it should be, all the meetings in present, so there's a photo that we take there. But then, as you all know, we passed to this era of teleconferences, and we become masters of organizing webinars, and this is a screenshot of one of the webinars that we organized. All the webinars are online. I mean, you can check it there, and it was a description of many of the methods, or most of the methods that we have been developing. And yesterday we had, these days, we had again the final event, and luckily enough, it could be in presence like today. So it has been on, off, and in the middle, all the. And it was nice to see that MPA managers, MPA partners, MPA-Engage partners are unstoppable, and they have even kids. So we have a second generation of MPA-Engage or MPA lovers, I would say, for the future. So it's guaranteed. And now you have the patience to see one-minute video, if it works, that we did it at the end of the first series of webinars that we organized in May 2020. It was a huge effort that we provided there for all the partners, because we had to adapt really fastly to, and it was quite successful, because if I remember well the figures that we get for these webinars, we had more than 500 participants in the different webinars. We organized 9 different webinars. And at the end, we wanted to somehow to thank all the people, and we prepare this video. Let's see if it works. Are you passionate enough to wait for one more minute? Yes? Okay. Let's try it. So this is my last slide, and it's the dilemma or the motto of MPA-Engage, act local and think Mediterranean, and we think that we have more than 1,300 MPAs in the Mediterranean, so we think as more than 1,000 opportunities to adapt to the climate change. So act local and think Mediterranean. Thank you very much. So I didn't do my job quite well, because at the beginning of the sessions I had to explain the entire organization of the session, but you know, this is the last day and we are a little bit, and I prefer to be like this. Today is going to be more relaxed, so let's take it relaxed. So now we have this, the second block of today's session is about communication products that we developed in MPA-Engage. So I'm going to ask Manuela Damen and Ernesto Dazzurro to join us, or later if you want, Ernesto, or whenever you want. And then after this presentation by Manuela, that you will see really nice products, let me put your slide here. And we have this roundtable that we call Voices from MPA Managers, or Voices from the Mediterranean MPAs, or something like this. But it's going to be a roundtable to discuss about the experience of being involved in these projects, and it's going to be really informal, so it's going to be an exchange. And then we will have the closing, some words for the closing, and then the lunch will be ready for us and to enjoy. And then, of course, you know that we have these diving and sailing activities in the afternoon. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm Manuela Damen. I've been working since the start of the project on the communication, in the communication of MPA-Engage. And let's say that this presentation was not planned at the beginning in the Met Together final event, but we have seen, and all one of you that have been participating to the Met Together tour since the first day, probably have noticed that communication has been carried out from the very start, from the first roundtable to the last one. Communication is really important to get all the goals of the project. Now, for instance, I put here the main goals of the MPA-Engage project, but it's for sure the same also for MPA networks. And here you can see that communication is fundamental, of course, for the citizen science, but also for the participatory approach, the harmonized monitoring, and the vulnerability assessment. More in general, we also aimed to speak to the general public. And so I think it's very important to put in the spotlight the communication aspect that is really joining all the aspects of these projects. And so this presentation is very short, but I wanted to put together some concepts that probably we already mentioned during the last days, but to reinforce them and to have them very much present during all our activities. This is the definition of communication. And well, I put in yellow the key points of this definition. You can see there the word sharing. And this is very important because there is not the concept of being in different levels. We should share our information with the targets. We are not teaching them. We are not disseminating. We should be at the same level to share information with them. And this is very important because we can be at the same level, and we should think that also the information that we receive from them could be very important to reach all our objectives. And the other concept that is evidenced is the common understanding. This is quite difficult because, as you know, we have many actors in the communication progress, in the communication. So who is communicating, in our case, mostly is scientists, MPA managers, environmental agency, and then we try to communicate to fishers, divers. You can read alone, of course. And there are a lot of connection. Also within the partners of the projects. I know on my side, being involved in communication since the start, that also to collect all the information from the partners coming from different fields, I had to use different languages with all of you. And also knowing personally the individuals that are working in these different agencies, it's easier to communicate. So to get really in touch with the people working. The important thing is to find a common language register. Because of course we are not speaking all the same language. I mean, it's not about national languages. It's more speaking about the technical languages or our field. So it's really important when we need to speak with different targets to find a way to reach the common part that is evidenced with the yellow arrow between the different people. And doing this will really create an easier environment to reach a common language. Of course, it could be needed the help of professional communicators. This is depending of what is needed in the special cases. But anyway, this common language register is really, really important. And now I want also to recall you that the final goal of communication, at least in my opinion, is the engagement, because all the actions that we are trying to reach, all the goals, at the end are made by the single individuals. So with the communication, we want to engage these people. We want to engage them to make them feel part of something bigger, part of the network, so that they can be more happy, let's say, to act for our final goal, because we need, of course, the collaboration of everyone to reach our goal. Now I will show you quite quickly some example of the communication products with the help of Ernesto of the MPA-Engage project. And here it's mind map. There is a mind map of what we try to do with the communication of the project, because here there is represented a cloud that should be like a box containing all the contents that during the course of the project we were thinking could be good to share with the public and with all the other targets of communication. Of course, not all the contents were good for all the communication targets, and not all the means of communication could be used for communicating all these contents. So here we have a kind of summary of what we have done. We spent a lot of time in social media promotion. We have accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we, of course, try to translate some contents in the way they can be used on social networks. Then we also produced a quite classical communication product that is the newsletter, and we were able to send it to many people, thanks also to the webinar, who were collecting a lot of people interested in our activities. There is also all the part of the events, and like an example are the exhibition that all the partners, marine protected areas partners of the project, have done or are doing in these days to show the effects of climate change in the Mediterranean, at the global level, at the Mediterranean, and at the level of the single MPAs. And the name of the exhibition is Cool the Sea. Pilar told us that, for instance, the presentation from Cap de Creus is now online. And then we have, of course, the website that is summarizing all we have done with useful links also to our products. And finally, I left this as final product. We have the video. And you have seen during the days of this long event that at the start of each roundtable, we put these video pills that have been created thanks to the joint effort of MPA-Engage and MPA networks. These video pills were built with the scope of being social network products, because as you have noticed, they are very, very short. So it's the time people spend looking at video on social networks. And they are covering most of the themes that are important for MPA-Engage and for MPA networks. This is the poster of the video pills, which have the same title as this final event tour. And then for MPA-Engage today, we will also would like to present you the documentary. So for this, I will call here also Ernesto to present the documentary. This is the list of the video pills of MPA-Engage, which you can find on the YouTube channel of the Stazione Zoologica. And this is the long video, which has the title of MPAs Facing Climate Change. Ernesto, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Manuela. Thank you, everybody. Bon dia, tothom, bonjour. We are really happy to, well, finalize in this way this 3 years of intense work. Joachim explained a little bit what we have been doing in the last 3 years. And Manuela and I, we did a huge work also in communication activities, both internal communication, but also to explain to the people what is happening in the Mediterranean Sea. And this intention is summarized in the video pills, in our communication products, and in this video documentary of 15 minutes that we are now going to present you. One of the first sentences of this video says, the future we have been warned about has started to saturate the present. And this is a bit what we wanted to show to the general public. We wanted to show that climate change is not somewhere, it's not happening in distant places, it's not something that concerns the future, but is something that is now, is happening now, and it's something that is being witnessed by local communities, by marine protected areas of the Mediterranean. So we started presenting the problems, the facts, the things that are happening in our sea, from the increase in temperature, from the tropical invasion, underwater desert, the Pinna Nobile crisis, the seagrass facing uncertain future, a lot of macroscopic changes that are happening where in marine protected areas, working as a network. And this is another important concept of the documentary, to show that marine protected areas are not facing those problems alone, but more or less everybody is having the same problems. Everything is about a common regional problem, global problem, which is climate change. Is not only climate change, because those problems interact, get in synergy with all the other problems that we are facing, we are having in the Mediterranean, like pollution and overfishing and so on. And of course, a final aim of this documentary was to show the action. Okay, there is the problem, but what we can do to mitigate or to adapt to this problem. So we also present the action and all the tools that we developed to face this common problem. So I think that for the introduction of the documentary it's enough. I don't know if you can start projecting the video. Thanks.
Marine Protected Area Engage, engaging Mediterranean key actors in ecosystem approach to help manage marine protected areas to face climate change.
Global warming is now.
Sea level rise.
Coastal erosion.
Mass mortalities.
Invasive species.
Habitat loss.
The Mediterranean
is a climate change hotspot, and we need
urgent actions.
Marine protected areas
are the best sites
where to monitor the change. Marine protected areas are the best sites
where to develop adaptation strategies.
Because our solutions
are in nature.
In partnership with
local communities,
governments,
scientists,
and civil society. Act local,
think
Mediterranean.
The beautiful Mediterranean. Unique ecosystems, rich in biodiversity, incomparable beauty.
El océano y las áreas marinas protegidas en particular nos proveen de múltiples servicios ecosistémicos, nos proveen comida, nos proveen protección frente a las tormentas, nos proveen mitigación al cambio climático a través de la absorción del CO2, nos proveen servicios turísticos.
But the future we've been warned about has already started to saturate the present. The last 10 years have been the warmest decade ever recorded. Scientists say an unacceptable risk.
10 years ago, we had a very rich algal coverage in the park, a very rich fauna, both in terms of species number and abundance, but now it's overgrazed by the cygonids, and we find more and often bare rock and only some tar-forming algal species.
Weather patterns are changing, sea levels are rising, and weather events are becoming more extreme.
Our model forecasts say that climate change, not only temperature but also increasing levels of salinity, are changing the Mediterranean in a more favorable environment for tropical species.
The consequences of climate change are mounting faster than predicted.
En el Parque Natural del Cabo de Creus, el cambio climático está afectando dramáticamente las comunidades del coralígeno a través de repetidos episodios de mortalidades masivas de invertebrados como son las gorgonias. Que en los próximos 10 años los paisajes submarinos de estas costas van a cambiar radicalmente. También vamos a ver aparecer especies que no habíamos visto nunca en estas zonas.
Here at Brioni National Park in the North Adriatic, we have a new threat in the sea. And the name of the threat is bluefish. This threat, it's exterminating our fish.
Cygonids has invaded this place, and now they are almost everywhere. Lionfish arrived 2 years ago, and now they are practically everywhere.
Some species are replacing the ecological functions of native species.
Changes in species distribution, mass mortalities, habitat loss and the spread of invasive species are only a few of the most visible impacts seen on coastal biota.
Lo que estamos observando es un aumento de la temperatura media de estas aguas y las previsiones que tenemos es que esto va a continuar.
The mortalities are pretty bad, and the effect of climate change on corals and sponges is pretty high.
The Mediterranean Sea is warming 3 times faster than the world's oceans, and even marine protected areas designed to achieve long-term conservation cannot escape the consequences of climate change. Several Mediterranean marine protected areas are already facing major biodiversity and functional alterations due to climate change, whereas others are expected to be impacted in the next few decades. Therefore, there is an urgency to mitigate these risks and consider adaptation options. Today, the Marine Protected Area Engage project, funded by the Interreg Med programme, helps Mediterranean marine protected areas fight climate change by searching for nature-based solutions to mitigate and adapt to the impacts of global warming.
Mediterranean MPAs can play an important role as sentinel sites where to monitor the effects of climate change and where to develop adaptation strategies in collaboration in partnership with local communities.
Actions are taken in partnership with local communities, decision makers, research bodies, socio-economic actors and civil society. The future of the Mediterranean and the survival of coastal communities is a priority concern. 8 marine protected areas from 5 Mediterranean countries were chosen as pilot sites for the development of climate change adaptation strategies.
Por ello estamos aprendiendo, son nuestros sitios piloto para entender cómo mejorar y cómo afinar todas las herramientas que estamos desarrollando en estas actividades.
Researchers and marine protected area managers are working together to track ecological impacts, create vulnerability assessments, and develop plans for climate change adaptation. Marine protected areas are privileged sites where we can monitor the consequences of climate change and support global efforts towards their mitigation. Marine protected areas serve as sentry sites to track the effects of global warming. Scientists and marine protected areas are working to establish a systematic and harmonized observation system across the entire Mediterranean Sea. Invasive species, excess mortality, Posidonia meadows and other climate change indicators are regularly surveyed in accordance with common protocols. Ecological and socio-economic vulnerability to climate change is evaluated in each marine protected area. This is done by combining ecological exposure with ecological and social sensitivity to climate change. The adaptive capacity of key stakeholders and tourism is assessed.
Vulnerability is the propensity to be adversely affected by the impacts of climate change. And vulnerability is calculated by combining socio-ecological indicators of exposure, sensitivity, and adaptive capacity. Performing a socio-ecological vulnerability assessment in a marine protected area provides local managers to highlight the weaknesses of the area by measuring specific indicators. A socio-ecological vulnerability assessment was performed in each marine protected area involved in the project, but also they evaluated the vulnerability of specific species, habitats and users, such as recreational fishers and recreational divers. To assess the socio-ecological vulnerability of the marine protected areas, managers had to collect specific data from their own databases, and they also performed specific monitoring activities on the species and habitats, and they had the opportunity to engage local managers to evaluate their local knowledge and perception to the impacts of climate change in the marine protected area. To support local managers to evaluate the socio-ecological vulnerability of the marine protected area, we have developed an interactive tool to facilitate local managers to visualize and calculate the results of the vulnerability assessment. To implement a specific socio-ecological vulnerability assessment as a solid activity in the management plan of the marine protected areas offers to managers valuable information to enhance the resilience of the area to the impacts of climate change.
Citizens such as recreational divers and small-scale fishers are also engaged.
Those are macroscopical changes that can be easily observed, especially by the people that live in strict contact with the sea, like fishers. In their lifetime, they observed those great change of the sea, and they were fishing some species in the past, and now they're fishing other kind of species. Some species disappeared, native ones, and other species appeared.
They are a precious ally for monitoring the status of marine environments.
Citizen science offers the possibility to engage divers, for example, or also fishermen, and offer us the possibility to exploit their experience, their knowledge, to better understand what is happening underwater during this period of climate warming. The possibility to exploit citizen science in the monitoring of MPA is something that is improving a lot the possibility also for managers to gather information for their management.
Marine protected area managers understand the importance of this collaboration.
The possibility to have hundreds or thousands of eyes that monitor and tell us the stories about what is happening underwater is very, very important.
We had this great opportunity to live this experience in MPA-Engage project. We create 2 different tours in 2 years. We met more than 100 diving instructors. We met more than 30 diving centers in more than 10 marine parks in the Mediterranean, with the specific aim to train recreational divers to collect data on climate change.
There is now the possibility for the first time to show in real time what scientists are doing, sharing their information directly with the open public.
Abbiamo lavorato sui processi di citizen science e abbiamo lavorato insieme ai centri di immersione che con noi sono custodi di questo straordinario monumento naturalistico. Sono molto fiducioso per il futuro perché questi nostri partner possono diventare a loro volta dei testimonial per diffondere in maniera appropriata i temi del cambiamento climatico e soprattutto la sensibilizzazione ambientale nei confronti dei grandi utenti.
Recreational divers enjoy helping science. They are enriched with new knowledge, skills, values and attitudes needed to act as agents of change. A wide range of stakeholders is involved in project activities, and adaptation strategies are discussed by a large assembly of associates, which includes scientists, marine protected area managers and political bodies. The challenge is to capitalise the project's results by making the tested tools available, sharing the lessons learned in each marine protected area and promoting key recommendations at different policy levels. The acquired knowledge is then transferred to other marine protected areas, thus improving dialogue and coordination between marine protected area managers, scientists and local communities.
A partir de las lecciones aprendidas en estas 8 áreas marinas protegidas piloto, vamos a capitalizar toda esta información, todas las herramientas desarrolladas para poderlas transferir a nivel de todo el Mediterráneo.
Of course, it's important to monitor the effects of climate change in a common way, in a harmonized way. And the MPA-Engage project has developed a series of standard protocols that actually help marine protected areas to join to a consolidated monitoring strategy.
Nuestra intención, el objetivo final del proyecto MPA-Engage es promover que las áreas marinas protegidas sean una herramienta eficaz para la adaptación al cambio climático y para ello todos los protocolos, todas las herramientas que hemos desarrollado van a ser clave para conseguirlo.
MPAs works in this way as a network and not as isolated entities.
Building a network of Mediterranean marine protected areas fighting climate change. Due to climate inertia, the global temperature will continue to increase over the next years, but Mediterranean marine protected areas hold solutions which need to be properly supported. Around the world, millions of us are taking steps to defend our climate. Every day we make choices about what food to eat, how to travel, and how to behave. And Mediterranean marine protected areas are the best places for promoting a profound change in our behaviour. Not only as individuals, but also as members of communities and as citizens who can influence policy. A Mediterranean strategy to increase the resilience of our sea and our coastal communities. No country can succeed alone, but together we can make a difference. Engage with nature to connect with the very places that we are trying to protect. Act local, think Mediterranean.
Okay, this is a bit the story of our project of the last 3 years. Huge work. The footage has been done in 7 different marine protected areas, including here in Cadaqués. And well, as I was saying before, it has been a way to touch what is happening all over the Mediterranean Sea, and also a huge personal experience for ourselves. And what can I say more? And some of the stories are also included in this little book, which is, its name is Boiling Mediterranean. And as Manuel, we have a presentation on that. Okay, so we can use the presentation. And yes, as Manuela was saying, we try to use different media, different words for different targets. And so this, the same concept are also provided in a book. This is an illustrated book. Let me see if we have the presentation or that. Yes. Boiling Mediterranean, it's an illustrated book on the problems of marine protected areas related to climate change, but also with the experience. The book is bringing the experience of the MPA-Engage project, and also is thinking with the concept of the network of MPA. The book is translated in the different languages of the Mediterranean, in English, and it's provided in English, but then it's translated in French, in Italian, in Spanish, Catalan, and Croatian. Will be translated in Arabic too. And very briefly, it starts about the uniqueness of our sea. And then we start with the problem, with the illustrated problems, let's see, from extreme weathers, tropical invasions, mass mortalities. Oops. Yes, mass mortalities. No, what's up? Oh. Maybe, okay, maybe you got it. It's too long. Anyway, the book will be freely available, and we have also some printed copy to share with you. I think I concluded now. Okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm here again to moderate the last roundtable of this session. And as Kim said at the beginning, this will be really informal, no presentation, only people sharing together. So again, the word sharing. Sharing together our experiences in participating to these projects, both from the point of view of the organization and from the personal point of view, if you want to share with us what you learned, what have been, for instance, our frustrations, if you get something important from the project from the knowledge point of view, and everything you want to share about this. So to start with this roundtable, I would ask to some people to reach me on the stage. So to Martina Herbat from Biuni National Park, Lorenzo Merotto from Portofino, Hossein Bazairi, I hope I did something good with your name, sorry, from the Université de Rabat Mohamed, and the director of this park, which are hosting us. From my point of view, as I said before, I'm now working in a different institution, but I've been working in the communication of MPA-Engage for almost all the project. And it has been a really extraordinary personal experience. It was the first time I was working so closely in communication with the marine protected areas, and so I really learned how difficult it is for you, for them, for you to face all the problems all days. From our point of view, maybe it was kind of frustrating sometimes to ask you a lot of information, a lot of contents for communication to share with the public and not receiving every time what we wanted. But I really understand that could be really difficult for you deal with all the duties that you have. And from the point of view of the institution, because before I was working for the Stazione Zoologica Anton Dorn, which is a research institution, I really think that participating to this kind of project that are linked to the real world, it's very important for research institution, because you have always the danger to be separate from real application. I know that many researchers are not very happy to spend their time in communication. Sometimes they participate to some project and is foreseen in the application form that you should spend really part of the project in communication, and it is seen like a waste of time in terms of research. But on the other hand, I really think that is really, really important, and the team of Ernesto Azzurro actually is working a lot also on this side, because what we do as researchers is not really useful if we don't also speak with the general public and with the ones that are really trying to change the things. I will leave the floor to our first guest on the stage, so to Martina, please.
Now it works? Yes. Thank you. It's really a pleasure to be here with you.
You can go, yes.
Well, it was a really pleasure to be involved in this project. We in Brio National Park, as a part of the MPA Networks project, were involved in various activities. And as mentioned by Manuela, it was really important to have a good communication with the partners, with our associated partners, with the communities as well, and the different other stakeholders. We were working on networking and just to connect with the project MPA-Engage. We tried really to connect and engage the MPA community, mostly in Croatia, from the very beginning, with an open conversation, with a sincere aim to collaborate, to work together and have a mutual exchange of experience. I believe that we will continue with this project afterwards, with the activities, with the hope that the other will join us as well.
Thank you. You can pass the microphone directly. Thank you. To Lorenzo.
Good morning, everybody. And it's a pleasure to hear. It work? Oh, okay, perfect. And it's a pleasure to be on this stage. And as I see here, I am the missing link between MPA Networks and MPA-Engage. My work was mainly on MPA-Engage, and maybe Valentina more on MPA Networks, but we work together, and I think that we work on two projects, but as one, because they are very overlapping projects somehow with the networking. Also in our case for the involvement of the stakeholder, and I think that both the project give to an MPA a group of tools very useful. In particular for MPA-Engage, I think that is very one of the most wonderful things of this kind of project, this project, as MP adapt before. Is that give to an MPA the tools and almost all the instrument to monitoring and study the situation of the MPA, not only from a climate change point of view. Obviously, the protocols are made for climate change, but the data gathered are very useful also for the general management of an MPA, with particular attention to the climate change. And I think it is very important because often we work a lot with the researcher, mainly the University of Genoa. But the need of the research, of pure research, and the need of an MPA often are not the same, because we have to be fast, understand what happened, and then try to fix. For example, sometimes the researcher have to publish, so they have to elaborate data and go on. So all the tools of the monitoring protocols of MPA-Engage is very useful from this point of view, because cover more or less all the sectors, all the topic of in the MPA. And instrument like vulnerability assessment can make you create the more or less total knowledge of your MPA, and to find the treat, the most sensitive part, and so elaborate some measure, the adaptation plan, but as I said before, not only for climate change, but in general, because anyway, climate change is a red line that unite all the problem. And on the other side, on MPA networks, for example, for us was both MPA networks and the MPA-Engage are, because also now, very useful to engage in general the stakeholder. On Engage, more with the divers, and in networks, more with the fishermen. And the networking between different MPAs, and the MPAs generally have the same problems, but a little bit different, and the exchange that we have in MPA networks and MPA-Engage with other MPAs is very useful to grow up together and to share, because yeah, maybe I think the concept of network is I'm maybe a little bit more good in one sector than you are more good in another sector, and we exchange, we grow up together. So I think that is maybe, yeah, stop. I want to say it's a good thing.
Thank you, Lorenzo. Then we can have we can hear the voice of Hossein, who is representing, in this case, an associated partner.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very delighted to be here with you during these final events of the two projects. First of all, I would like to thank Kim because he invited me and my university to be an associate partner, and we were honored by this. And I will let me talk about two things. First, as an associate partner, and second, as end user of the products, the outcomes of this project, as an expert. So I present myself. I'm Hussein Bazairi. I'm a scientist in university, and I'm working on MPAs now for more than 20 years in the Mediterranean part of the coast, Moroccan coast. So we were involved in the project since the early training session that were online, and we had the opportunity to participate. Many PhD doctors, PhD students, they prepare their thesis in marine biology in Morocco. So it was very interesting, and we learned a lot. And during time, I think that one of the strength point of this project, MPA-Engage project, that sharing. And that's a good point, because they share all the products, what they are done in real time, what they are the deliverables, and so on. And you can find it easy on the internet. We work with them. They are very friendly. If we need something, we can ask. You can write to Kim, to Ernesto, and then there was no problem with that. If I can say something about the MPA project, first of all, I would like to congratulate the partners for the effort they have done, the huge work that it was done in 2 years. And as part from the other side, from the Mediterranean, yes, you worked local, but you thought Mediterranean, because we found myself and all the products that you have produced. Then there's a huge work that was done, but I want to just tell, because we are in contact for many years, that behind this multidisciplinary team, there's a lot of background in the Mediterranean region, because most of the colleagues worked in other parts from their country, and that's a strength point in elaborating the strategies in the products, because they think large, they have an idea what happens in other countries, mainly from the north and the southern parts of the Mediterranean. So if I conclude with the MPA project, Engage project, it's a huge expertise and relevant expertise at the local, but also and mainly at the regional scale. There's sharing. It's a term that I very appreciated, because it was real. All the documents were shared on the deliverable. And also, I think that, yeah, as I told you, it's the work. I would like that we, one of the MPAs in the south, to be in there, because it's another context, another experience, but I understand that the scope of the project didn't allow it. I hope that in future, because it's very interesting to be part of this reflection at the regional scale. Now I will talk about a end user of this product. I'm working on the MPA in Morocco. While we have just one official MPA, it's called the National Park of Al Hoceima in the Mediterranean, but we have worked in the framework of project with Sparak, and now we identified two others MPA that the Morocco has decided to declare them in the future as other MPAs. Cabo Tres Forcas and Jebel Moussa in the Gibraltar Strait. And we are now in this MPA of Al Hoceima, we are working on, because the law on marine protected areas has changed, and now we are preparing a management plan. In this, all the products, and I'm involved in this management plan, and I will assure you that all these ideas, I was very happy to profit from this opportunity, because I had many ideas that we can translate in our management plan that will be repository in the future. So yes, we will use these protocols, because we do some monitoring in these areas in Morocco, and yes, we will try to do the same protocols in order to enable data that can be used at regional scale. And we had this experience with publishing with Kim, and when we are together, we can do many good things. So just to finish, I think that during these days we had a good idea about where we want to go. The objective, I mean that we have an idea what the situation we forecast in the future. And there was some recommendation from the project, or the two projects, that what could be the ways to achieve or to arrive to this situation. And from my opinion and my experience in Morocco, the case that I know very well, there's two key challenges if we want to go ahead. The first one, it's the level of participation. I mean that working in 20 years, sometimes we are disappointed because we feel that MPA are not a priority for my country. So there was an example, the Turkish example, and I think it's a good example that when we work at the high level, things can go very easy after. And the second point, it's that all what we are doing in Morocco, it's by project approach. So there's not an involvement of the country. And if we can do something, we have to see what strategies to adopt and to involve the country in the future that can go for the monitoring, for the management and so on. So thank you to be late. I'm enthusiastic to work. I'm very happy to be here with you, and we hope that we can collaborate in the future. And you are welcome to work on our ecosystems in the Mediterranean and Morocco. Thank you very much.
Thank you really for taking the voice from the southern part of the Mediterranean. And I'm sure that also I can say from Kim and Ernesto that we are very happy for your appreciation about our products and that you will use them. So this is very important for us. And then I can leave you the floor, please.
Okay, thank you. Well, actually, it was also a pleasure for us to be collaborating in this project, to be involved in this project. Actually, I'd like to thank Pilar, Judith, Gemma, Sarah from our department, and also Gerard from our natural park, to be the person who have taken part of this project along these years. I'm recently the director of this natural park, just a year and a half, so my experience here has been only for 1 year and a half, but it's been very intense, and I think we've worked very well, and we've learned a lot of things. It's good for us to be here because I think this is a huge problem, it's a massive problem, and we're not facing it together. And we realized with this project that we have tools, not just to analyze, to see how things are happening, how fast are happening, how deeply and how worrying are they, but only to know how to prevent the consequences of this severe problem. So it's been really useful for us to know that there are other countries, other parks, similar to the ones we have here, to work together in this project. For us, it's been also very important for two other things. One is, I think we should highlight the importance of science, citizen science. We've been collaborating with different people, and actually some of them are invited here to listen to this workshop today. And I think this is a good point, because they can also help us, not only for researching what is the problem, what are the tools to prevent them, but also to warn people and to make a lot of communication works and job to realize for all the people that are concerned in this problem, that I think is the huge or the whole humanity, that the problem is part of all of us. So citizen science is good for managing the parks, for knowing more information about what is happening there, but also to send this message to all the people. And also for us it's been important because we are now working, as I told you before, with our management plan. And the management plan means that we have to explain this problem, this huge challenge we have in front of us, to all the people who are involved in a natural park. That means people who are working in touristic activities, to divers, snorkels, fishermen, both professional and recreational, also politics in local governments. So this is a very important tool to show how deep is a problem and to show that we have to act and we have to change things in a different way that have been done until the day today. So I think it's been very useful for us to be here, and I'd like to thank really all the scientists, and mainly in our case to Kim to lead all this program in Catalonia. And I think it will be a really useful tool for the following years to work together. And apart from that, we now know how you work in other countries, how you work in other national parks or natural parks, and we'll be able to work together in the following years.
Thank you. Now it's time to discussion and exchange with you. If you want to share also your experience in being involved in the project, it's time.
Don't be shy. Please. It's the time.
We are really tired? Yes, sure.
No.
Thank you. Well, I would like to highlight one point that I understood from the work with the colleagues in MPAs. This is something that was pointed out before in the speech of my colleagues. And this is the difference between MPAs, but, well, the marginalization sometimes. Sometimes we find ourselves struggling with the administration, with other sectors. We feel that they don't understand us. And when we talk about issues like climate change, it's something that's sometimes become marginal with other problems when we compare it to it. My colleagues organized a training in Zagreb on climate change, and what we saw is that the park were quite interesting to take part, but when they saw how many information they need to be able to assess the state of their parks, they were quite discouraged, because they say, okay, we don't have this minimum information. And then when we think about who will do the adaptation, then we see that the stronger, let's say, between brackets, park can do it, but the other parks are really struggling with the essential. What I saw is that we really need to be pushing each other, and the activities like we had in the project, like twinning, exchanging, the tools that were made available online are quite amazing and really, really helpful. But at the end, if somebody wants to pursue this path, sometimes it's difficult, because you need some park to boost you, to help you, to support you. And I really think that with this two project, we made something for the future. I'm quite confident that after the lifetime of this project, by doing the networking, by sharing the tools, by twinning, by connecting, by knowing each other better in events like that, online, and different other meetings, we really can call each other and say, Tina, can you help me out with that? Nobody is going to help me, or I don't understand something, and I'm really sure that Andrea, Alena, Carol, Laurent, Lorenzo, Valentina, and others will help you. Because with this project, we understood it's not only the acronyms of the project. Behind this project, behind these letters, you have really nice, amazing people that will help you. And please keep that in mind after the lifetime of this project. When you feel that you don't have the strength to continue, or you don't have data, or you don't know what to do, just call somebody, and I think that they will tell you, do citizen science. You don't have a data, but the divers can help you. And with this project, I'm sure that we will do something beautiful afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. I can use this. You can take it. So thanks a lot for highlighting the importance of the networks and the importance of the fact that it will continue after the end of these two projects, and that the network is made of people that can create strong links between them, and as you nicely said, they will continue after the end of the project. Probably there will be other new projects, but this network now is living and will help each other a lot. So, someone wants to intervene? Okay, someone is there.
Thanks. First of all, I want to congratulate you for this big effort and this nice networking. But as an MPA manager, I wanna make a concrete question, because when we are talking about climate change, we are talking about nature-based solutions. And I would like to know, in your MPA's concrete actions you are improving. Thank you.
Yeah, it's from our side. For example, with vulnerability assessment, we know the damage done by climate, and we know the direct human impact. For example, the fisheries, the nets, lines on the Gorgonian, okay, on a K habitat. And so we see, is new that damage Gorgonian, damage coral is more sensitive to heat waves than another one completely healthy. If you have two Gorgonian near, one with impact and other without, you are quite sure that the one with the lines die first. But so we know also the measure, remove the, forbid that kind of fishing, and the habitat become less sensitive. But this is an example. So we know our measures are more or less all of this kind. Posidonia meadows avoid any damage. So this kind of measure, or others on awareness, citizen science, and something like that. But I think that there is a lack. In fact, after the Martina comments, I want to add one thing, because I think that this group, okay, the MPA in general, the researcher, have a lot of NGOs, sometimes also the region, know the problems, and but it's difficult to have a policy to improve in that direction. Often we know the situation, we know some of the solution, but some mitigation measure, but it's difficult to apply because we have a bigger problem. Bigger problem, I say, for example, political problem, and as Martina said, the climate change, the MPA are not in the top of this of their priority. So I think that this network in general can push. It's an instrument to push to go in the right direction, because an MPA alone or a researcher alone can do a lot of difference maybe, but together we somehow can lobby on the policymaker at different level, but we have to pass through the stakeholder engagement for sure.
Thank you.
And perhaps I would like to add something. I'm not perhaps the best person to talk about the activities that were carried on in Brioni regarding MPA-Engage, because we have my colleague Andrea, who afterwards can tell you more. But just briefly, the work done by the park were extensive with the stakeholder engagement, with the consultation with the stakeholders, with the vulnerability assessment. A really good vulnerability assessment of the park was carried on, and the adaptation measures were structured. And some of these measures are already being implemented with some activities toward removing the plastic, reducing our footprint on the island, with many communication activities, engagement with, we cannot really, what I want to highlight, we cannot avoid climate change. We are not pretending that we will do it, that we will skip it with any of these activities. However, we wanted to raise the voice to say it's happening, it's not the future, it's now. We have to face it, and we tried to show the local community what kind of changes they can expect and how they can adapt. Some days ago, there was a really nice event that took place in the island with named Hook and Cook, with the preparation of some really delicious recipes of invasive species, not perhaps invasive, but some new species that came in our waters that people are not really familiar how to cook, how to prepare, and look at them in a very negative way. So what the park did is really to highlight this issue, as was pointed out before, that it's not perhaps sometimes the top priority.
Thank you.
Of course, sorry. No. Also, there is a change in the management plan, and some activities were implemented, were inserted in this management plan.
Okay, thank you. Any other comment? Yes.
Yes. Maybe about the future, I believe that, yes, we say we have to raise voice, but we have to be conscious also that we are playing a role as MPAs and MPAs managers that is crucial, because climate change, for me, is linked to everything else. It's linked also to development. So there is a cumulative process, and we have to insist on that, because I can see that sometimes we forget also that maybe we need a higher level of protection generally in order to face this climate change issue. I'm mentioning as an example the apex predators. When we were speaking some days ago about recreational fisheries, but when you know that the first target are apex predators, like let's say groupers, and you know that those groupers could be an answer also to lionfish, because we have to reconsider a little bit those based nature solutions, that we are the one that have to fight about that, and to convince decision makers that they have to make decisions, very important and quick decisions. So it's something also, we can eat all lionfish, it's nice, thank you, but we have a huge problem of biodiversity anymore. So let's insist also on our role, how to make this protection the higher level of protection, because it's a part of the solution for sure.
Yes, I fully agree. In Croatia, as in other countries, currently we are working on defining the pledges for reaching the targets of the European Biodiversity Strategy to 2030. And what I saw is that there are some ideas how to reach the target of 30%. However, we know that the strict protection will deliver the best results. And this strict protection, this 10%, it's quite tricky. And honestly, as I see it in Croatia, I don't know how we will achieve it. First, as the topic, what is strict protection, is the first question. And I think that we should first understand what we expect of the strict protection. Is it only non-extraction, or can be some extraction, or something else? However, I think that on that part, unfortunately, we won't reach the 10%.
Thank you, Paola. Daniela Minetti, Regione Liguria. I link my observation to what to say before to Lorenzo Merotto. The participation of Regione Liguria to this project was really interesting for us, and I see a big result in the consolidate of this network with the MPA network and MPA-Engage, and I think that is a value, it's a really important value for all Mediterranean this kind of network. But in my experience, we can improve our relationship with marine protected areas that are national institution, and we are a regional institution, and we can, MPA are a hotspot of biodiversity, of research, of a sort of gymnasium for the sustainable development model and so on. And we need the relationship with them because we can improve this policy linked with our own action in order to involvement of economic actors, different policy, our own regional protected areas, and build another network inside this network. And linked this network with the network that we have with the other region, with Europe, in order to the European strategy and European funds that dialogue directly with the region, for example. And this is another opportunity. And so we can enlarge this network with the other network, and it's really important, this kind of exchange. And we have to enlarge also with the civil society network that are working on this topic, not just at the level of NGO, but also the people that are working to change the behavior of consumer, the behavior of method of economics actor in different way. So I think that this is a project that built something more than the simple results of the project, and this is what Curcio Cervelli and all the people that spend money, give money for us to spend it, want. So go on, not just for the objective, the deliverable, and so on, but to build something else. And we know very well what we have to do for the future, because we learn very much from this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. Is there someone who worked here to the pilot action who wants to share his experience, her experience?
So you mean whatever pilot action?
No, I was asking if someone from Cap de Creus who was, yeah, but you can, of course, also share yours if you want. Is someone from Cap de Creus who was working to the project on the field wanted to intervene, to tell us his or her experiences?
Well, we have several people who have been working here. We have,
if you want, of course.
Eduard, he maybe also can help us. But I would say, well, maybe some of you can explain something. Actually, Eduard is working in citizen science. He's retired now, but he's a very fascinating, enthusiastic man from the undersea, and he's trying to help us with the pinna nobilis and other species. Just so, go ahead,
no, perquè el problema és l'expressió. En anglès no puc parlar i que m'entenguin, però bueno, l'experiència que tenim és, vam descobrir això a mitjans de l'any passat, ens vàrem introduir en dos projectes, bàsicament, el buscar nacres, entre dues persones, que al voltant de la costa, que hi ha entre Roses i Colera, n'hem trobat 12 de vives, com a resultat del treball de dues persones amb una mica de temps, i el segon és el del canvi climàtic amb els peixos, que estem dinamitzant un grup local, que ja tenim en aquests moments 6 punts de mostreig, i d'aquests 6 punts podem arribar a 8, 9 per aquest any 2022. però bueno, és un compromís que tens, la sensibilització ja la portem interioritzada d'alguna manera i volem créixer a nivell local, això.
So Eduard and some of his colleagues, they are working in helping us in Cap de Creus in like 2 different projects. Actually, Eduard was one of the first people here to realize a mass mortality of bivalves last summer, was that? So he saw it and they fast explained us this problem, and we did say it to Kim and his team. So apart from that, they are helping us with Pinna nobilis, that they realized also that there are still some individuals that they are alive, so they are monitoring them. They're following the same itineraries several times a year, and they realize that some individuals are still alive in the park and also outside the park area. And apart from that, they are monitoring also fish. They are doing transects with fish. They say, I think there's 2 or 3 now at this moment, or 6 now, and then they will probably increase to 12 or 10 to 12 different transects, and all of them is done by enthusiastic people like them, and they are doing it like citizen science. I think, as I said before, that citizen science is a big help for us, not only for knowing things and to improve the knowledge we have about that, but also to spread the message to all of the people who are linked to the sea.
They deserve an applause.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Deserves an applause. Yeah.
Hello. Yes, I just want to say thank you for this event. I am Marta, and I have started recently working here in the Spanish MPAs all around the country. I'm based here in Girona. And yes, as she was talking before, that sometimes to work between regional spaces and national spaces is kind of difficult, but I think these events here are very useful because now I can put faces to the actors that are working here. And a beautiful example, for example, of good network is like the last week we were working together searching for the Pinna nobilis in Cap de Creus. So we are like, when we link the efforts from regional, national, and citizen science, the work goes well. Well, my English is, but what I want to say is that thank you for this event, and that for me it's been very useful because I've been working in the sea, but to manage MPAs is like a very new topic, and these protocols can be very useful for people like me that want to do something significant, but it's very difficult because sometimes from the administrations there are like, you have to focus in this, but you cannot divide spaces. I mean, nature, it's a continuum, and climate change, it's a continuum that it's linked with all the nature topics. And well, I just want to say that if we work together, we will arrive further.
There is a comment, yeah.
Hello, I'm Marita Rassé from Lebanon. I want to say that I am impressed what I saw this 4 days, 5 days, and I learned a lot from what you have and what are you doing. I think you need to go more to the media, to the news, to make what do you have in more awareness for the new generation. Because if I'm not here, I didn't know what's happened in the Mediterranean, what kind of big work you are doing. You need to go more to the news. You need to go more for the new generation, not only in social media, but more in the news and in the television of the Mediterranean, if you can go there. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, we have an online question from an online participant, Mr. Igor Busturia Cerezo. He asks, in the UK, one measure to deter the fishing impact in MPAs is by constant monitoring of the industries by the Fisheries Monitoring Centre. Is that a measure that could be implemented in the Mediterranean? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm just going to repeat the question. In the UK, one measure to deter the fishing impact in MPAs is by constant monitoring of the industries by the Fisheries Monitoring Centre. Would that measure be possible, and could it be implemented in the Mediterranean? That is, the monitoring of the industries by the Fisheries Monitoring Centre. This is an example that is being implemented in the UK.
I believe it's a question for Kim, perhaps? No? Networking, Kim, please.
This monitoring system, but it's true that we need monitoring, and this is why we are kind of developing these monitoring frameworks to gather in an harmonized way information to inform decisions. So, yeah, if this is working in UK, that's fantastic. What we are trying to, we can maybe check and see how they are doing this, and maybe adapt it to the Mediterranean framework. Okay, thank you.
So thank you. Just several things about the communication tools and everything you talked. First of all, thank you very much for all the tools and all the contents you have provided. You were saying, okay, you were asking us, but at the same time, you did a good job, because this is, yeah,
Thank you.
You realize is something that is needed. We are asked, but in the middle of all the other things, it's, okay, we'll try, but we have to think of special people to do that. And so, another thing, this morning I am in contact with our community manager, and just sending pictures and texts, and we plan a little bit. And connected with what you are saying, she was like, oh, I am so pleased to to tweet about this. You will have to wait, because first go the pollution event of the Saharan dust. Then we have some fires because they are, they are harvesting now, and with this extreme hot wave, some fires are burning. So we are the last, but she was so pleased to be able to tweet something nice, beautiful, and positive. And then to Eduard Marquez, his article about the mortality of las arquetas was published in the newsletter. And
it was published
yeah,
in the last newsletter.
Yeah, last summer. So things arrive. And then we tried as well to bring journalists from our TV here. There was a coincidence with other political events that go always first. Yeah, we have, I don't know, to pay or to ask, like the Prime Minister, or as our colleague was saying. So on Thursday, there was an important thing, and today I think they are like announcing the blue flags of the beaches, but it's like the beaches that have showers and good quality of water, which is okay. That's okay, but it's not natural beaches or nature. So it's been, and today, okay, a journalist had to come, but he's like waiting for if there is something important or an emergency they have to cover. So it's really difficult, and we have to find, I don't know, or to make politicians or high people realize the importance of all this. So thank you.
Thank you, Pilar. And also thank you for all your inputs anyway, and to the inputs from all the other MPAs. And I know that involving journalists is really difficult because we are not in the top priority, our topics are not in the top priority, so we should really try to invent some news that could be kind of particular topic for the public, and even if the most important things are others, we should find a trick to be pushed up in the different news that can be in the interest. Please.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Mokhtar Said from National Council for Human Rights in Libya. I was in the Ministry of Environment, so really, I like what I have seen in those days in these meetings, and the important for the projects like in what I've seen for MBA project and the MBA network. And I'm going maybe in the history of the MBA. I'm going back to in the Mediterranean in general. Really, Medban, they are playing good work in the Mediterranean, and they make this big family, what we have here now as a network in all the Mediterraneans. And also, like those projects that you have for previous years, I mean, for just maybe 4 or 5 countries from the Mediterranean. I hope that in future, if you have another projects like those projects, to involve other MBAs from Mediterranean, let's say from South Mediterranean, from other countries. I'm sure that those projects, that they will make this network an effective network in the Mediterranean, and we will help the Medban what they are doing with the network in the Mediterranean, because really this family, now all of us know each other for many years. Before Medban, they start to work as a network in the Mediterranean. Everyone his work maybe alone, and sometimes we are meeting in other COPs or other meetings, but now I think it is effective. And if we think in future about other projects, please try to involve other MBAs in the Mediterranean. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I think we can take one last question, because I see the hand, but then I think we need to close and go for lunch.
Thank you. So I'm Marina Chiappi from Università Politecnica delle Marche and Enalia Physis, and I would like to underline the concrete ability of this project to develop very interesting collaborations among many different MPAs all around the Mediterranean area. And I would like to thank you all, and especially Ernesto Azzurro, because I feel like I'm an example of this success, since while being still a student in Italy, I had the possibility to open a new collaboration with Cyprus, and it was, I mean, very, very interesting, and I was I'm still very grateful for it. So thank you.
Thank you, Marina. And I would also like to thank our participants on the stage, all of you and all the organizers of this great event, Kim and Carol, and here Paula, of course. So thank you, and Kim and Carol can can come here for the closing. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we came together to celebrate the end of 2 projects, but I think what we have been celebrating together last few days is more the fact that we are a growing community of practice. So beyond the end of this project, definitely, this community, this family will last, and I think this is a real virtue of this kind of projects. Beyond tools, beyond the financial support, I think this is a key added value and interest of this kind of collaboration is that, as it was mentioned by Martina and Lorenzo, we can know now better each other. We know we can contact somebody if we want to have answers to our question, or even if you seek for support. And I was reflecting actually since yesterday, Kim made a very nice quote, because funnily, currently I'm reading Edgar Morin. So this quote was about a kind of metaphor. Our life is like sailing through an ocean of uncertainty, and we are seeking for islet of certainty. But I think, and this project illustrates this perfectly, in terms of navigating our respective life, maybe one key success factor or factor of happiness is the encounter you do, the people you meet. And in this regard, beyond the techniques, beyond the knowledge, what is the most important is the kind of solidarity you can build with your peers, but as well with stakeholders. And I'm very grateful that our 2 projects have been able to team up, because definitely it has been more challenging. But the saying, related to the fact that when you are alone, you can go fast, but when you are together, you can go further. It has been very true. And I do believe that the quality of our exchanges, the good spirit of the discussion, has been a clear illustration of this reality. So despite maybe the grumpy mood or the pessimistic tone of the ambassador yesterday, I do believe, like Romain, that we have sound reason to be optimistic, and the key one is our community. So let's celebrate it and work together for the Med. Thank you.
I fully join all the words by Carol. So yeah, it has been challenging, but as I think that it says Tony Fon in the closing session in Palma, would say, why you organize such a joint event? Because there was no other way of doing, right? So here we are, and I think that from these days we at least I'll come home with more hope, because yesterday, for instance, in one of the interventions by an officer of the Interreg Med, Curcio Cervelli, they are working on putting in the Interreg Med projects, which is only till now only MPAs from the European countries. They are opening this to other MPAs, so there is hope that we will be working. There are other instruments that we will be able, or that they are already in place, and we have to tackle as well this challenge, because every day we have many issues here. But yeah, I'm so pleased we are the braves. We make it through 4 days, some of us. So I just to thank you, all of you, for your participation, the people online that has been following us, the technicians that have been here arranging all the things to make this happen, the interpreters, the MedPan people that are supporting us with the chat and checking that the people in the Zoom are doing well and knowing how it's doing. all your efforts, all the teams making this happen. So I'm going to invite you. I have many things to say, but the lunch is waiting for us. I think that it would be nice because you share many thoughts, and we need even more time to share all the thoughts. But I'd like to invite you to join me in the stage and take a final picture of this event before going to the lunch. Okay? So come here. And we will make a big round of applause for everybody, I think, because we deserve it. And thank you very much.
Uau!
Anem a l'altra banda.
No, home, tu, Gemma, tira cap a dalt, tira endavant, home. Que després has estat treballant aquí més.
Moving regional parks are a little bit lower organized. Okay, no problem. Oh, two regions. Two regions, one earth. I only heard, I know.
Who's managing the computer? No, no lo tengo. Do you know who's managing the computer? Because I have a link. I have a link to the opening session in Marseille of it as a short video. Yeah. And someone can go on the back. YouTube de 3 minutos
sí.
De la sesión inicial de Marsella y es de donde venimos.
This or...
Fas tu la foto, Quim?
Eh?
Fas tu la foto, Quim?
No, la fa...
És que fas de tot.
So serious.
Lluís, va.